Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccerrules.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victor Drive's Single Shot Series. On this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about self-defense. And we're going to talk about self-defense because if we haven't learned anything from the attempted assassination on Donald Trump, it's that the government will not and cannot keep you safe at all times. Now, I know that's an extenuating circumstance. Trump was out there giving a speech at a rally. But it does kind of go to show that even with the best of the best, the United States Secret Service completely surrounding a single person, their sole job is to keep him safe at all times. They couldn't even get it done for the entire time, right? So I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. I'm sure you guys have all been seeing the news about the attempted assassination, all that good stuff. So we already covered that a little bit with my first reactions with my buddy Joe Williams. But I do think it's important to talk about self-defense because like I said, the government isn't going to be able to be there at all times. And if there's one thing I realized, I guess, from my wife becoming a cop and all that stuff, is that law enforcement is very reactionary. And it does take a while for them to get there, no matter how good the police department is. They try their best. I'm not taking anything away from them. They are doing their best with the cards that they have, right? So I'm not taking anything away from the police. They're doing their job. They're doing the best they can in most areas. But I will say that nothing will protect you better than yourself after you've gotten some training and your skills are sharp. We see that all over the place when it comes to so the gun control lobby, they really like to say like, oh, good guys with guns and fucking poo on that. And it's not, no guns is better than even a good guy with guns and all that stuff. I think that's bullshit, obviously. And I think that good guys with guns are definitely force multiplier. So the more people out there that are trained and comfortable with their firearms and carrying them around and doing their thing, that is good for the entire, for everyone. It's good for not only that person and their family, but it's good for everyone that surrounds them. So most of these shootings and stuff that happen, they definitely happen in gun-free zones, and there's definitely not a good guy with a gun in the immediate area. So if you can be that guy, look at Elijah Dixon over there. Like I can't remember where that was at, Indiana, I think. He took out a bad guy with a gun before he could conduct his mass shooting. So he took an extraordinary shot and hit the target multiple times, put him down quick, and he wasn't able to conduct his mass shooting the way he had planned because a good guy with a gun thwarted his plans. So that's very, very important. And, I also think it is very important for you to get martial arts training, whether it's Jiu Jitsu or boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai or whatever it is. That is also very important for your mind, body, and soul as well. And it teaches some sort of discipline and gets you physical and all that stuff. And if you can be an all-around stronger person, whether it's with your shooting abilities or your hand-to-hand combat abilities, it's all good. It's all good stuff to know and learn. However, everyone knows you don't bring a knife to a gunfight, you don't bring your fist to a gunfight, and you don't bring nunchucks to a gunfight. You bring a gun to a gunfight if you want to be, if you want a chance. So with that said, I think those are all good things to know and learn, but I think the most important thing for a person to know and learn in this country, since we have the freedom as of right now to be able to get guns and they're accessible to everybody that is of age and everything else. I think it's important for you to go get a gun, get trained, and be lethal out there if anyone wants to, kind of rain your parade and shoot you or your family or do other heinous acts. So I do think it's very important. Obviously, that's a big reason why I do this podcast because self-defense is very, very important. I personally have seen the pros of having a gun in a gunfight, and it's very important to have those tools at your disposal and also know how to use them. A hammer doesn't do any good for you if you don't know how to use a motherfucker. So just like a hammer, a gun is a tool, and you need to know how to use it and use it properly if you're going to walk around and wield one as well. So I think it's very, very important. And outside of the gear and stuff, which is fun to talk about, the boring thing to talk about is training. Get out there, get some training, find someone good in your area that knows how to shoot, and learn from them. They're all over online too. You can find good shooters online that put on really good training programs, and just find them and go to them, figure it out, learn how to use your gun properly. So with that said, I do want to go through kind of my top picks. It's not going to be necessarily specific guns to get first. It's just going to be my lineup of what you should probably get first when it comes to guns. There's just going to be like types, right? So number one on my list, just because it's not because it's the most, the best thing to use in all circumstances, not necessarily because it's the most lethal in a gunfight necessarily, but it's the most concealable. So my first pick, and you can call me gay for it, whatever else. I know they kind of get some hate, but I think you should get a Glock 19, right? So Glock 19s are, compact 9mm, and I'm just a keep it simple, stupid kind of guy. Glocks you really can't go wrong with. They're reliable, they're easy to use, and the left hates them, so that's always a plus. So I think Glock 19 is number one best choice for you to get first if you're talking self-defense, and they're also easy to shoot. For a compact gun, they're very easy to shoot, very, very reliable, like I said, and they're just simple and easy and reliable. That's all you can ask for in a handgun. And handguns are very important today because you can conceal them easily, walk around with them, get your concealed carry permit if your state requires one. You can easily conceal a Glock 19, even if you're a small statured person. I usually carry around like a Glock 17, but I'm a little bit bigger of a guy, and I like my 17. So there's that, and you don't need to necessarily get a Glock 19 either. If you fancy a different weapon, whether with a handgun, as long as it's reliable and easy to use, because number one thing in a gunfight is your adrenaline starts pumping, your fine motor skills go to shit, and you need something that's fairly easy just to grab, draw, and present and fire. So, I am a fan of not having external safeties on your self-defense weapons that you carry around with you. Some people get freaked out about that. If you do get freaked out about that, that's fine. Grab a gun with a external safety, whether it's like a 1911, 2011, if you really want to carry one of them hunkers around, or, any other, SIG. Okay, here we go. A P320 with a safety actually is pretty safe. I've talked like a little mild shit about P320s just because their safety issues they've been having with safetyless P320s. But if you do, for your own personal comfort and stuff, if you need a handgun with an external safety, then go and grab that gun too. Whatever. It's gonna be better than nothing. Just train with it, learn how to use it. Make that second nature to flip that safety off and use it appropriately, and then get a good holster for it. It doesn't need to be expensive either. When I say good holster, I mean just something that's comfortable to wear. I think I carry around I have a Kydex holster that I bought off of Amazon. I can't remember what the name of it is. I can get that to you guys sometime in the future, but it's super cheap and easy. I think it was like $40, and it's a nice holster. You don't need a fucking gay ass TRX Arms holster in order to be effective out there. It's just a fucking holster. It's just a something to put your handgun in to keep it on your body, right? So as long as it's fairly comfortable and easy to pull out and use, then just grab that. Like I said, they don't need to be expensive. They just need to work. So I also carry around like a Car 40 sometimes if I really want to. It's not my favorite handgun to use. It's the trigger pull sucks and it's really long. That's the safety on it, is that it's a super long, heavy trigger. And it's a 40 cal. I was young when I bought it, but it is super easy, super light and easy, and very, very concealable. And I can shoot it decent, I guess, but it's a purely self-defense weapon. Like if they're attacking me personally, I won't be doing any Elijah Dixon freaking moves and shit, and shooting out at 40 yards with that son of a bitch or nothing. But it is perfect for just someone's attacking me, then I can whip it out and plug them with 40 cal. So that's pretty nice. But at the end of the day, grab a handgun, go find one, go to your local gun store. If you have zero experience with firearms, just fucking talk to the people working there and tell them, I don't have any experience with firearms. I really want a self-defense weapon or self-defense handgun. Point me in the right direction. Listen to their, opinions and stuff, but take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research before you go in there as well, and talk to them. But if you do want something that's much more easily concealable outside of a Glock 19, because even for a compact handgun, it's still pretty decent size. And that's why I like it too, because I have big hands and they're easy to shoot for me. But if you want something a little bit smaller, like a micro or something like that, SIG P365s are really hard to beat. Something of that nature. The Springfield Hellcat is super hard to beat. Actually, matter of fact, that's probably my favorite micro is the Springfield Armory Hellcat and the Hellcat Pro specifically. It's for a guy with really big hands. It has a extended magazine for it and everything else. So it's very, very comfortable to hold and shoot even with big hands. And if you have smaller hands, then you don't need the extendo mag. You can just keep the standard mag in there and do what you need to do. But it is very thin, very light, and it carries a good amount of rounds in the magazine as well. So that's my number one concern with carrying a gun, is that also in my experience is that the more bullets, the better. So I am not akin to this whole idea of you only need 10 rounds to defend yourself and that fucking gay shit. It's like, no, if you can get 17 rounds in a magazine, 18 rounds, 20 rounds, whatever, the more the better. I've never ever talked to one person that's ever been in a gunfight and be like, do you know what, guys? I just took too much ammo. There's just way too much ammo. I couldn't burn through it all in a single gunfight. So it was just too much. I brought too much ammo. No one's ever fucking said that. So more the merrier is what I say with bullets. So get one that isn't a single stack, preferably, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of like the 40 cal. My car, it's a single stack 40. Doesn't hold rounds with shit. So get yourself a good double stack magazine with like 9mm is probably, in my opinion, the best round for pretty much anything. It's fucking really hard to beat a good old fashioned 9mm. It ballistically, it kills people just as fast. There's that old adage of, I carry a 45 because I only want to hit them once, or I only need to hit them once then, or something like that. That's not exactly true, especially if you're talking about a dude that's all hyped up on meth and coming to attack you and your family. It's like, you want more rounds. So that's very important to me, is having enough rounds to get the job done, put the assailant down as quickly as possible. And if you're carrying on a single stack magazine, handgun, then you only got maybe 7 rounds, 8 rounds, or whatever, 6, 7, 8 rounds, depending on the size of the handgun. So I don't think that's the best. I know it's won 2 world wars and all that good stuff, but it's not the best anymore. 9mm with good self-defense loads, a good hollow point in there, it's going to kill people just as fucking dead. And it could actually do it quicker because you can put more rounds on target faster with a 9mm than you can on 45. So that's always a plus. So get yourself do your own research. These are just my opinions on it. But at the end of the day, you need a good handgun that you're comfortable with, that you can shoot well. And moving on, what I think next for self-defense. This might trigger some people, but it's pretty hard to beat, especially when it comes to home defense. And that's just a good old-fashioned shotgun. You're going to realize in this podcast, I really go with the 3-gun rule. So with that little tidbit of information, you probably know what's going to come after a shotgun. But a shotgun is very, very hard to beat for home defense, especially. It's it's a scatter gun. If someone is burglarizing your house or coming to rape you or something like that, and you grab your shotgun, it's just that old school fucking, especially if you have a pump shotgun and you just grab it and you don't have a shell in the chamber already or anything like that. You rack that fucking slide on that shotgun, pump that action, if you will. And they hear that, they're going to run and hide, or that's what a lot of people say, if you do that. But it doesn't hurt to have a good solid shotgun, whether that's, if you want to get super fancy with the Benelli M4, that's fucking badass. Those are sick shotguns. Otherwise, just a Mossberg 500 works perfectly fine too. They also have like those, like the Shockwave, which is a super short pistol shotgun, so it has the straight handle on it, pump action, fucking super short barrel. Somehow that skirted the ATF legal rulings on, what a short barreled shotgun is, but I'm all for it. Whatever little loopholes you manufacturers need to make in order to get us what we want, then I'm for it. But a good old fashioned shotgun, load that fucking son of a bitch up with double-aught buck or whatever, honestly, and keep that in the corner of their house in a quick to access safe, whatever it is. A good shotgun is very, very hard to beat. I just have, I've just got old school hunting shotguns, and I'm totally fine with if someone comes in and I grab my Mossberg 500 and someone wants to fucking dance in the dance floor down my living room, then I'm totally okay with, plugging them with that. It is what it is at that point, but it is big, it's big and long and all that good stuff. So if you, that's also why you need a handgun. It's a lot handier, if you really want to load up before you get out there, then whatever. But yeah, so second choice, my opinion, good old fashioned shotgun is pretty hard to beat, and especially in a home defense situation. Third is going to be an AR-15. I know you guys probably think like, oh yeah, what the fuck do you need an AR-15 for when it comes to defensive weapons? Well, the best defense is a good offense, my brother. So that's what my wrestling coach taught me at a young age, and that's what I still carry on with today. AR-15 is typically considered like an offensive weapon, especially in today's day and age when they're trying to ban these so-called military-style assault weapons. But guess what, bitch? The AR-15 is just as defensive as any other fucking gun. So, I think every American should own an AR-15 because just in the political climate, it's one thing, but also in the fact that they are extremely useful. And it doesn't need to be an AR-15. It can be any type of, semi-automatic rifle that you're comfortable with, whether it's an AK-47, fucking a Galil, an FAL, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a semi-automatic, quick firing rifle, I think that's good. I think it's a good thing. The thing I like about the AR-15 is that it's super easy to come by. It's very, very popular. There's so many choices, and they're constantly customizable. You can do whatever you want to them after you get one. The important thing is you don't need a fucking Daniel Defense right away. You don't need to spend $2-3 grand on a AR to be effective. I think I paid like $800 for my AR, and it shoots just fine. I like it. So. You don't need something super crazy and expensive. PSA, for fuck's sake, they're decent rifles. They are decent rifles for the price. I think you can pick up a good, decent PSA AR for $400 or $500. Like that's pretty easy. That's pretty affordable, especially if you save your pennies and shit. So get a PSA AR and shoot the shit out of that thing. I mean, there's plenty of videos on YouTube about PSA reliability tests. And all that stuff, and they're very good for the price, especially. They're good rifles. So, it doesn't need to be something super crazy. It doesn't need to be a fucking Daniel Defense. It doesn't need to be a Colt. It doesn't need to be anything, it doesn't need to be anything expensive. You can buy a nice, good, solid budget rifle starting out and then upgrade it as you go along. Or you can save up after you get one of them. You can save up for a Daniel Defense. I'm not poo-pooing on Daniel Defense by any means either. They are fucking very good rifles. Very, very good. They're just expensive. So I think definitely get an AR. And the reason why they come in handy is because let's say you have multiple assailants coming at you, in your house, or fuck you in your car, like, put an AR-15 in your car, whatever, dude. You're driving through some dark, dirty places. You might need a fucking AR-15 in your car. You never know. So the biggest thing is, like, if I live out in the country, right? So I have an acreage for now. I'll eventually be moving into town, but I do have an acreage, so it's big. And if someone comes on my property and wants to fucking do harm to me or something like that, there's a lot of space for them to work with, especially if there's multiple assailants. And like I said previously, the more the merrier. And an AR-15 carries standard 30 rounds in a magazine, so that's a lot of firepower if you need it just in one magazine. So and then also more magazines are easy to grab and throw in a pocket or something like that if you need them. But you're definitely not going to be using it very much, and it's definitely a very, 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 very statistically low situation when you're going to need an AR-15, I guess, for purely self-defense, home defense situations. However, life outside is getting crazy. We just saw, the former president of the United States, soon to be current president of the United States, I'm sure, almost get assassinated. Shit's happening all the time, and I feel very strongly that you do need a good battle rifle, to say the least, I guess. And I'm not afraid to say it, I guess. Yeah, you're right. So ARs and M4. Well, first of all, they're M4s that we use in the military, but that platform is what the military uses, abso-fucking-lutely, because they are good, and they're good at battle and war. So yeah, it is a weapon of war. But guess what, motherfucker? Back when the Constitution, the Bill of Rights was written, muskets were weapons of war. Like, just because they're weapons of war doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to own them as fucking citizens. You definitely should be able to own weapons of war as a citizen of the United States of America, because that is the whole reason why the fucking Second Amendment was written in the first place. It was in case shit hits the fan in America, we can defend ourselves against foreign and domestic enemies. That's the whole point. That's it. Cut and dry. End of story. So there's that. And I just feel strongly that you should have an AR or some type of rifle like that, because, like I said, life is not getting any easier out there. We just saw, what was it, in 2020, the BLM riots and all these riots and fucking violence and all this other crazy shit happening. If you need to protect yourself, your home, or your business, if you're a small business owner, then you need to be able to protect it with the best tools that you can have at your disposal. And that was certainly an instance when there was multiple assailants in one area. And when I say multiple, I mean fucking crowds of people. So we all talk about the rooftop Koreans during all this stuff and the LA riots back in, I think, the 80s, the rooftop Koreans there, and then the rooftop Koreans and fucking during the BLM riots. Like, they were ready to hold down the fucking fort. So that is, I don't know. That's just me. I think that everyone should have an AR type weapon, whether it's an AR, AK, Galil, FAL, whatever. A good, solid, semi-automatic rifle that you can shoot well is very, very useful. And you never know. It's just like wearing your seatbelt. It's like, I put my seatbelt on. I still don't want to get in a car crash, but I still put my fucking seatbelt on. So it's like, I have a gun, not because I want to use it all the time, willy-nilly and all this other shit. It's not because I want to kill somebody. It's because if I absolutely have to kill somebody, then I want to use the best tools at my disposal to get the job done. So that's that. That's kind of my little, I guess, not really, I don't know. These are kind of ranty, aren't they? Like, whenever I get on these single shot series episodes, it definitely does feel a little ranty because I'm sitting here just pumping myself up the whole time. It's like, oh, come on, man, fucking AR-15 Amendment in America. I get all pumped up and shit. I'm just sitting here talking to myself, but I know you guys out there are listening and talking with me, so I do appreciate that. But it definitely does feel a little ranty, like I'm sitting here ranting to a friend while they're sitting there totally silent, just soaking it all up. Like, yeah, totally, okay, sounds good. And then whenever I hit stop and stuff, I'm like, God damn it, Jake, you fucking idiot, you screwed that one up. But no, I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent here now. But anyways, that's my little tangent about what kind of weapons you should kind of start with when it comes to self-defense. Just I put them in order too. I think a good solid handgun is the most important, just because of it's the one that you can carry with you everywhere and have on you at all times. And do I think it's the best weapon for defense or I guess killing capacity, if that's the case? When it comes to killing people that need to be killed, I don't think it's the best at it. Obviously, it's a fucking handgun. It's not going to be as accurate or easy to use as a rifle, but it's the one that you're going to use the most, I guess. When I say use, I mean carry around with you and all that good stuff. So I did put them in order: handgun, shotgun, rifle. You can obviously alter it and do whatever you want, but then at the end of the day, I want everyone out there listening to be able to have just to go get a gun, go get a good gun that you know and trust and shoot well with and all that good stuff. So that's just kind of my thing, is I think those three weapon types or firearm types are the most important to have on you at all times. Then from there, from after you get those three firearms, then you can branch out and do whatever you want. Obviously, if you're a hunter, you're probably already going to have a hunting rifle or something like that. Or you're probably already going to have a shotgun and all that good stuff. But, I just don't think bolt action rifles are necessarily the best to have on you in your when it comes to defense. Obviously, snipers and shit like that are force multipliers. But, if it comes down to the nitty gritty and shit, absolutely, totally, fucking, absolutely, 100% hits the fan, then having a good sniper and good marksman on your team does not fucking hurt. It does not hurt at all. So if that's what you're into, whether it's long range shooting and all that stuff, then absolutely get a bolt action rifle and get to know it and shoot the shit out of it, dude, and have fun. But also, aside from feeling good about yourself, knowing that you can defend yourself and your family, shooting guns is just fun. It's just good fun. It's a lot of fun to get out there and shoot guns. So go out there, have fun, get trained, and do your thing. I do have some little things, some call to actions at the end here that I want to get through. I do, once again, I'm going to say this a lot, but I really do appreciate all you guys listening and all your support. 100%, I do. You guys are the shit, and I love you. But also, if you want to support the show a little bit further, then go on workingclassbowhunter.com/store and buy a Victory Drive shirt. I love going to trade shows during trade show season and seeing the shirts out there. The Victory Drive shirts I see out there I love it, especially the Bow Hunting's for Felons shirt. That's my favorite. And we're going to revamp them a little bit here sometime, probably before trade show season, come out with a new Bow Hunting's for Felons shirt or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it's something that I want to do. And the OG Victory Drive VD logo is probably going to go away after this. So once it's sold, it's sold. So if you want to pick one of those up before they go out, then absolutely do that. And they're, I think, 10% off now or something like that. So they're a little bit cheaper. So there's that. And then also, I already said it, kind of thing. You go to workingclassbowhunter.com/store. So obviously that means we have other shows out there. So I'm part of the Working Class Bowhunter Network or Working Class Network, whatever. And, I just do the firearm stuff. It's kind of my thing. I've always been a gun guy and always will be. And if you listen to the Working Class Bowhunter podcast I did with them not too long ago, or you met me at a show or something like that, you know that I just absolutely love guns. I love guns. I love shooting guns more than I love shooting archery. And granted, I do love shooting archery, but there's just something about getting out there and shooting guns. It's just American and it's awesome. So, but with that said, I went on a little tangent again. But with that said, listen to Working Class Bow Hunter podcast. They're the kind of the mother of this whole network. So listen to them. They're great. I'm sure all you guys already do, because I think the majority of my listeners came from working class side of things. So I appreciate you guys listening to not just me, but also Working Class Bow Hunter, and also Tackle and Tacos with Jordan and Lola, and also our new one, Hunting Mason Dixon, with Jordan. So check all those shows out, give them a review and all that good stuff, and interact, whatever. But also, hey, don't forget about me. You listen to my show. So if you guys haven't given me a review on Spotify or Apple, please do that. I do love seeing and reading those. They're the shit. Maybe I'll go through at the end of one of these podcasts and read some of the reviews. But that's pretty much all I got today, guys. So I really do appreciate you guys listening. And get a gun, get trained, and have fun.